broadcasting to you on WNN 1470 AM and TrentoVision.tv from the world's leading think tank laboratory, buried deep in an undisclosed building in hostile territory where evil and corruption is exposed. You're about to enter the Tom Trento Show.
Yeah, jihad, jihad, jihad. G-H-A-D, or is it J? I don't know. What is it?
Jihad.
Jihad, jihad, all week on TrentoVision.tv, on WNN 1470. Today, the 19th of June, Wednesday, a couple of minutes after 5 p.m. in South Florida. We welcome you. Hi, CJ. How are you? Nice to see you.
My ear popped out.
How's your, your ear popped out? That's
How does an ear pop out?
Yeah, anatomically difficult.
I got it.
Well, we put it backwards.
Okay,
so.
good. But folks, welcome. Once again, this past Monday, we did a fabulously interesting story where one of our producers, Damon Rosen, stopped on Interstate Jihad 95 to cover a story, and he became part of the story, and that video has gone all over the world. It's gone viral, and Damon became a newsmaker, almost getting into a fight with a
Oh, that guy would have
guy.
backed off.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Anybody at the United West can take anybody, anywhere, anytime.
We'll kick your...
That's right. Your jihad, whatever.
Yeah.
But then Tuesday, we did that amazing expose, Joe Kaufman's breaking story on a local jihadi, Ahmed Badir, and his connections to Al-Qaeda this time. We know, and we've known, his connections to
the Muslim
Brotherhood, all of this, but now there's familial connections to Al-Qaeda. What a show that was yesterday. Today we have a special guest with us, and that's our good friend Pamela Geller. She'll be here in about a minute.
Yay.
But we want you to tune in every day, WNN 1470 at 6 a.m. Get up early, watch Steve Kane, Brian Craig as they start the day, all things no Obama. All things no Obama. They're very good at that. Then we come along at 5 o'clock, and be sure to tune in every day as we do national security issues. This week, jihad. And we're going to show you. Let's take a minute now and show everybody this video. So everybody in the studio, hang with me. We're going to show the video, and then I'm going to bring Pamela back. And then Pamela and I are going to discuss this explosive video. So hang on, let's roll the video.
Siraj Wahhaj said, listen, it says if Muslims were more clever politically, they would take over the United States and replace its constitutional government. This is the man you're seeing tonight.
Listen to, I don't have a problem with that.
You don't have a problem with that?
Oh, no, I don't have
So you would like to use Sharia law in place of the Constitution?
By all means.
Let me ask you this, though, since you brought up Sharia law. Under Sharia law, the Book of Justice 12:2 calls for stoning of any adulterer.
I don't have a problem with that.
Do you have a problem with killing apostates or stoning apostates?
It all depends on what look here. You have to go to the footnotes on apostate.
Yes.
When apostate turns his back on Islam,
Yes, sir.
and become an enemy to Islam, then yes.
You have to kill him?
Yes, I
And
kill
you would
him.
like to see that law in America?
By all means. And let me tell you something. Let me say this in reference to
What is
Sharia
your name,
law.
sir? Do you mind me asking? I mean, because we're talking with you. I mean, my name's Randy McDaniels, by the way.
My name is Sinclair.
Sinclair?
Sinclair Hejazi. Let me tell you something about Sharia law. If we had Sharia law in this country,
Yes, sir.
it would prevent prostitution.
How does it prevent prostitution? By what means?
Because the man can have marry more than one wife. Look at the Mormons.
But if you what's the penalty for prostitution?
The penalty for prostitution is the woman is
Is she stoned?
that's right, she's stoned, but the man they let the man off free.
Okay, that's under Sharia law.
That's right.
Okay, so there's no equality in Sharia law then.
Well, let me say this. Don't forget, this used to be a man's world. Remember?
Okay, so
Okay,
do you believe that it's a man's world now still? Or it should be?
The Koran said there's no difference between the man and the woman. The man just have a degree above the woman.
Intelligence, right?
No, not intelligence.
Well, no, it says in the Quran that Allah made women stupid and menstruate.
That's not true.
Yes, that is true.
It said the woman she is like a rib. She's crooked, meaning that She have a different character than a man. She is more emotional than a man. I'm American. I was born in this country. My forefathers are slaves. Slaves.
But you're an American, but you want to replace our Constitution, which is American, to a foreign government and foreign constitution.
Anything, look at anything is better than wrong. Right is better than wrong.
So you're saying that our Constitution is wrong?
To a certain degree, of course.
Those who commit zina, could be fornication, could be adultery. What is the punishment according to the Koran for those who commit fornication? What's the punishment? Lashes, 100 lashes, not stoning.
Think of Siraj Wahaj's speech.
You know, I'm going to tell you something about you now, Siraj.
But you guys are good friends, correct?
Yeah, of course. We grew up together.
You did?
We reject from the projects.
Really? What part of Brooklyn? Because that's...
Fort Greene.
So y'all grew up together in Fort Greene?
Yeah.
So y'all go back how many years?
Oh, God.
So you followed Imam Siraj Wahaj throughout his whole career?
Yeah, bro. We came from the Nation of Islam together.
Oh, so y'all were both Nation of Islam?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's where you became his security, was at the Nation of Islam?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I lived in Chicago, and I tried to go to the mosque.
Well, you wasn't allowed to go to the mosque.
No, they wouldn't let me in. They didn't. I was.
Wrong complexion, wrong connection.
And that's what they told me. I was shocked.
Yeah.
Woe is me. Well, would you say that you and Siraj Wahaj are ideologically in sync?
Yes. I told you where to find my article, right?
No, sir.
New York Times.
Yeah.
September 11th.
Yeah.
2010.
Which mosque do you attend here?
Here in Florida?
Yeah.
I attend the mosque in Boca Raton.
Boca Raton?
Listen to Boca Raton.
Okay, amazing.
Okay, all
That
right.
was simply amazing. And, I've seen that particular video many times. We've been holding on to it for quite a while.
It was national news right there.
Yeah, we taped that back in February of 2011. Pamela, let's get your thoughts on Sinclair Hejazi, good friend of Siraj Wahaj and darling of your newspaper up there in New York, the New York Times.
Yeah.
Well, the New York Times is not just New York's newspaper. The New York Times is the template for all American journalism. Anything that runs in the New York Times, you will see repeatedly. It's almost, I would equate it to AP or Reuters, or even UPI. And again, it shows that they learned nothing from their incredibly dangerous pattern of promoting devout and dangerous Muslims as moderates. The most obvious and egregious example is Anwar al-Awlaki. If you recall, Anwar al-Awlaki was the New York Times go-to imam for all things Islam after 9/11. Mind you, he was simultaneously the imam for a number of the 9/11 Muslim terrorists. He was the imam to, as you know, the Fort Hood Jihadi, and of course the underwear, the underwear bomber. And so, were they ever reflective? Did they ever mea culpa? Ever? On Anwar al-Awlaki? No. Not only that, but I think the reason why the Pentagon had al-Awlaki to lunch and to dinner, and he preached from the Capitol, was because of the sanction, the imprimatur of legitimacy that the New York Times gave him. And here again we see, in your, in my opinion, bombshell video that shows the New York Times darling, Sinclair, advocating for the Sharia, advocating for the stoning of women, and will the media you think the media will pay any attention to this? No, which is why your role and the role of talk radio and bloggers is so critical in this fight for freedom, because the media is criminally negligent, and in some cases it's criminal journalism, which is a piece I ran a couple days ago in my column WorldNet Daily, the title of called Criminal Journalism, because they are, for whatever reason, aligned with the jihad force. When you see, for example, the Tennessee reportage, where we were protesting the DOJ's vow to criminalize the postings on social media that offended Muslims, the coverage, every single headline said, Muslim outreach, disrupted by, you fill in the blank, racist, Islamophobic, anti-Muslim bigotry. When in fact, There's Muslim outreach events going on every day. We have never, ever protested them, even though we know what an abject failure they are. One only had to listen to FBI Director Mueller when he was being quizzed on why the FBI was not following up with the Boston bombers after they were warned by Russia, by Saudi Arabia. Was it Gomer asked, did you check on the mosque? Did you monitor that mosque? Did you have any contact with that mosque? And Mueller said with a straight face, we did outreach with that mosque.
I want to go back to Boston. You said things like, and I jotted these down, what you said, the FBI did an excellent job, did a thorough job, don't know what else we could have done. And according to the Russians, there's a great deal more that could have been done. And when we find out about this Sensitive Operations Review Committee, and as this article points out, if it's true, it says that we don't know who the chairman and members are of this Sensitive Operations Review Committee, who the staff, that's kept secret. The FBI never canvassed Boston mosques until 4 days after the April 15th attacks. If the Russians tell you that someone has been radicalized and you go check and see the mosques that they went to, then you get the articles of incorporation, as I have, for the group that created the Boston mosque where these Tsarnaevs attended, and you find out the name Al-Amoudi, which you'll remember because while you were FBI director, this man who was so helpful to the Clinton administration with so many big things, he gets arrested at Dulles Airport by the FBI, and he's now doing over 20 years for supporting terrorism. This is the guy that started the mosque where your Tsarnaevs were attending, and you didn't even bother to go check about the mosque. And then when you have the pictures, why did no one go to the mosque and say, who are these guys? They may attend here. Why was that not done since such a thorough job was done?
Your facts are not altogether well.
All right, point out specifically.
May I finish my
point out specifically. Sir, if you're going to call me a liar, you need to point out specifically where any facts are wrong.
We went to the mosque. Prior to Boston.
Prior to Boston.
Prior to Boston happening, we were in that mosque talking to the imam several months beforehand as part of our outreach efforts.
Were you aware that those mosques were started by Al-Amoudi?
I've answered the question, sir.
You didn't answer the question. Were you aware they were started by Al-Amoudi? You were not. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, which shows just what it's takia, it's a distraction, it's deliberate. It's the law enforcement. So back to your video. Again, this is the same pattern, and what they're doing is they're disarming the American people. They're misleading the American people, and it's these moments that you captured that I think blows the lid off of this, propaganda being advanced by the most powerful news organization in America.
Well, here's the confusing part about all of this. The New York Times did their heliographical story, putting a halo, making him an angel,
right,
over Sinclair Hejazi in, I think it was 2010. And as you folks saw on the video, Sinclair Hejazi, when you first talk to him, seems like a very nice guy. He was an electrician in one of the World Trade Center buildings, and he used to pray in the little mosque that they had in one of those buildings. So somehow the New York Times found this guy. I think he was saying that he was in New York, had no place to pray anymore. And the irony, Pamela, all of this surfaced right at the time when you were leading the protests against Imam Rauf and the Ground Zero Mosque. So that was the genesis. So you had
a hit
part.
Piece, right? It was a hit piece on Pamela. This is what it was, right?
The New York Times was saying, "Oh, Pamela Geller, by implication, and all of you against the Ground Zero Mosque. Look at Sinclair Hejazi,
poor Muslim, moderate Muslim guy, moderate little
wonderful guy. Now he has no place to pray, and he wants a mosque close by the trade center buildings, and you won't
evil
give him
Pamela
one.
will not let him have his mosque. Look at poor little Mr. Oh, so poor little Mr. Hejazi and all his friends who prayed inside the World Trade Center. Now Pamela's taking that away from him.
Are you mocking the New York Times, Mark? Is that what you're doing?
Well, you know, what really upsets me, this is supposed to be a world-class journalism event, you know, organization, and they're supposed to go in there and actually, we didn't even.
Well, now I'm explaining that right now. I'm explaining that. No, well, Pamela just laid out the fundamental basis of why they're off in space. But you would think if you're going to stick somebody on a front page of one of your featured sections, and you would make an example, you would think, CJ, you would think that you would check the guy out.
Yeah.
We found this not through our great investigative powers. We were simply at an event to disrupt, disable, destroy a Siraj Wahaj event. And our guys, Alan Kornman in particular, and you can see it on the screen.
Siraj Wahaj said, listen, if Muslims were more clever politically, they would take over the United States and replace its constitutional government. This is the man you're seeing tonight.
Listen, I don't have a problem with that.
You don't have a problem with that?
Oh, no, I don't have
So you would like to shoot Sharia law in place of the Constitution?
By all means.
Let me ask you this, though, since you brought up Sharia law. Under Sharia law, the Book of Justice 12:2 calls for stoning of any adultery.
I don't have a problem with that.
Do you have a problem with killing apostates or stoning of apostates?
It all depends on what look here. You have to go to the footnotes on apostate.
Yes.
When apostate turns his back on Islam,
yes, sir,
and becomes an enemy to Islam, then yes.
You have to kill him?
Yes,
and you would like to see that law in America?
By all means.
What's the penalty for prostitution?
The penalty for prostitution is the woman is
she stoned?
That's right, she's stoned, but the man they let the man off free.
Okay, that's under Sharia law.
That's right.
Okay, so there's no equality in Sharia law then?
Well, let me say this. Don't forget that this used to be a man's world. Remember?
Okay, so you believe that it's a man's world now still, or it should be?
The Koran said there's no difference between the man and the woman. The man just have a degree above the woman.
Intelligence, right?
No, not intelligence.
Well, no, it says in the Quran that Allah made women stupid and men straight.
That's not true.
Yes, that is true.
It said the woman she is like a rib. She's crooked, meaning that she have a different character than a man. She is more emotional than a man. I'm American. I was born in this country. My forefathers are slaves.
But you're an American, but you want to replace our Constitution, which is American, to a foreign government and a foreign constitution.
Anything is better than wrong. Right is better than wrong.
So you're saying that our Constitution is wrong?
To a certain degree, of course.
Then we find out he's now left New York. He's retired in Boca Raton. And,
of course. Where else would he end up?
And he's attending a mosque not far from where the bunker is right now, actually. Same county. And we did a little bit of research and found out the guy's a complete jihadi. CJ, your
a little bit of research. We asked him one question. He just spewed. He spewed it.
You just say hello, and he tells you what he really believes.
It was like a jihad in a box.
Yeah.
It was. It's like, who is this knucklehead?
But I just have one quick point about the New York Times, and then if I could ask Pamela a question.
Yeah.
The point about the New York Times is they have a history going back way, way far. Early 20th century, being fellow travelers with the communists, documented in Diana West's book, Read American Betrayal, about the media and the government betraying this country. Covered up the Holocaust during World War II, and now they're aligned with the jihadis. This should not be the newspaper of record, and they are so left liberal. I have to ask you, Pamela, why, with all the feminists running around the New York Times, why would they be so supportive of somebody who is so obviously misogynist?
Well, you make a very valid point about the New York Times. We know that Walter Durandi was a Pulitzer Prize-winning Stalinist who advanced communism in the New York Times. Where's the mea culpa there? We never see a mea culpa. When this story breaks, will the New York Times run a front-page piece saying mea culpa? Of course not. And all these news stories like on Tennessee, we were there protesting the criminalization of free speech, not a Muslim outreach event, but this is what they do. And it's very dangerous. The people are being misled. To your question, why? It seems to me that the left has always aligned itself with whatever totalitarian ideology there is of the day. If it wasn't communism, it was Stalinism. If it wasn't Stalinism, it was the National Workers' Socialist Party, the Nazi Party. Right. And why is that? Because the left loves to control the people. The battle essentially is individualism versus statism, individual rights versus collectivism, and there is no better system of governance in which to control the people than the Sharia. And I really believe that is where the attraction comes. And at the end of the day, when it's going to be, the left and Islamic supremacists left, they probably feel, the New York Times and their elitist brethren, feel that, they'll be able to, subdue the jihadists. I do not believe that. I think that Egypt is a perfect example. It won't be that way, but it's the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And that's the marriage between the left and Islamic supremacism.
They don't get it. They just don't see that come the revolution, they're the first to go.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Let me ask you this, Pamela. When we break this story, and it's 5 o'clock on Wednesday the 19th, and the story's broken, we're gonna send it out. We'll push it out later on this evening, Wednesday night, and sooner or later, in pretty quick time, it's going to get into the editorial room at the New York Times. And, somebody may say, hey, guys, what should we do with this? What do you think they're going to say?
With what? That's what they're going to say.
With the truth. What are they going to do with the truth?
No, with what is the answer.
I mean, let's get serious. I mean, there's absolutely no way. We have seen them ignore story. We have seen them ignore story after story. I mean, frankly, they should have been all over Benghazi. That is that's a historic American failure of incomprehensible proportion. Look at their coverage of Watergate versus Benghazi, their coverage of Watergate versus the spy scandal. It's shocking that they're spying on millions and millions of Americans and not monitoring the mosques. I mean, this is a scandal of unfathomable proportion, and yet, you don't see it on the front page. We hear that Obama's now setting up peace talks with the Taliban. I guess, and the Taliban, right, I'm sure, will be late to the meeting because they'll be too busy blowing up little girls' schools. I mean, this is shocking, and that's why they're aiding and abetting the philo jihadist in the White House. Very, very dangerous times we're living in. And again, I salute what you're doing, because without people like Robert Spencer and Tom Trento, who, by the way, are smeared, defamed, and libeled, we are blacklisted. When was the last time you saw Robert Spencer speak at a university? Yeah. And yet you'll see a Khomeiniist like Reza Aslan make $30,000 a speech and call someone like Spencer or myself the most egregious and disgusting names on Twitter. If I ever called anybody that, I mean, I would be driven, to the sea. And yet he's exalted. He's exalted by academia. It's a very sick and perverse society we're living in right now, very low state of the world. And we, like David and Goliath, we are there with our little slingshots. But you know what? We know how David and Goliath turned out, so I'm not really that worried.
Yeah, good point. Very good point. We know you're short on time, but you had one last question for her.
Yeah. What's next? How's it going in Seattle? And what's your next big blast?
Ads went up. Islamic apartheid ads went up in San Francisco this week. Every ad that was up in New York City subways, the Islamic apartheid ads have been ripped down. As fast as they go down, it's as fast as they go up. Seattle is not taking my ads. It looks like a big legal battle. And then on June 29th, Spencer and I are going to the UK at the invitation of Tommy Robinson, Kev Carroll.
Awesome.
For the Walk of Death, to lay the Stars and Stripes. We'll be laying the Stars and Stripes in Woolwich on Armed Forces Day, along with Anas Gravis of Stop Islamization of Europe,
That's
Tommy
fantastic.
Robinson, and Kev Carroll, and the thousands of British patriots who are smeared, defamed, libeled, and arrested on a daily basis merely because they stand for freedom. So
we
that's
would love to have you
that's
all
upon
on the. We would love to have you all on the show together. If you could Skype in from England while you're doing that, and that would be a nice round table to have, and put a good video out of that for here in the States and around the world. We'd love to get that out.
we'll try and put that together.
We
That
can do
sounds
that.
good. All right.
All right, thank you.
It's so good to see you.
Goodbye, my favorite she-devil.
Say hi to Robert for us.
Oh, I will say hi to Robert, and I just want to give a salute, a shout out, as Obama would say, to Damon, who was awesome.
Yep.
You know,
Thank you.
Jihad Highway, and those women. I love those women. You know, it proved that whole jihad campaign, the CARE campaign of rebranding jihad, didn't get legs at all. You know, these were regular folks. They were out there, you know, with their flags and their little tutus on and their little, you know, dresses. And, you know, I mean, it was a brilliant moment, Damon, and my kudos, props to you.
Thank you very much.
Wow, that's pretty
really
big
was.
kudos
All
right there.
That's right. All right. Good job. Good job.
All right, Pamela, we'll see you now.
All right.
Thanks for joining the Love
Thanks for
Fest.
coming on.
Be safe. Pamela Geller, ladies and gentlemen,
She's so good.
on a beautiful Wednesday afternoon. It's somewhere around 26 after 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. 26, 27 after 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
What time is
That's
it?
Mountain
On the
time.
19th. That's what I meant to say. On the 19th. That was Pamela Geller, but she gave a nice heads
Did
up.
someone ask the time?
She
Yes.
gave no.
What
they
is
asked
the time?
No,
What is the time?
No, I don't want to know the time. I don't want to know the time because the time here's a
relative.
puzzle. Is not the time.
Time is relative.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Time is not the time. Okay, because if you can think about it, the
In
time
the
is.
universe of multiverses.
That's right. Time is relative. So no times today, folks. Look at your watch if you want to know the time.
Okay, we'll put it this way.
Look
Is
at
it
your car dial.
jihad time yet?
It's jihad time all
Okay,
the time.
so-
But-
Time
That
in
is
Florida.
always my favorite time of the day.
Oh my goodness.
But here's what we have to do, because we're going to get Alan Kornman on, who was there, who did the interview with Sinclair Hejazi. So let's try to get him. But I think we need to show, once again, it's been 3 days now, the news report that Pamela was speaking about, because not everybody, if we have that queued up. Do we have that queued up? The CBS News report where Damon made international news. If we have that, let's play that, because our whole week came spinning off of this event that happened 15 June, Saturday, where Damon Rosen, one of our producers, was driving on Interstate Jihad 95, right? Jihad 95.
What is it with Florida and jihad? Why is it such an attraction?
I don't know. It's good for business. Speaking about business, business is donations, folks. That's our business.
Yes.
We market and travel in information. We provide information and intelligence for you. The way we do that is we live and exist off of your donations. So please go to TrentoVision.tv. You can donate securely. That means nobody can steal your ID. We'd appreciate any sort of donation. Follow us on Twitter at The United West. Go to YouTube/The United West and subscribe so you get all these cool videos. And then there was something else I keep forgetting.
Well, I want to just say also,
Facebook.
So far, the IRS has let us keep our tax-exempt status.
Yes,
So
yes.
donate while you can and get a tax deduction for it. Do a good deed, get a tax deduction, and keep the IRS at bay for us.
You never want to, well, it used to be you never want to get in a fight with the IRS, but our books are so clean and so nice. And,
They are.
And we're so little. I
I'm
mean,
so
relatively
shocked because
speaking.
if you would see the state of the bunker around the
Yes.
tidy records, you wouldn't believe it's possible.
Yes, but we stretch a penny, so to speak. Everybody's a volunteer in here. All this stuff you see happening was through the donations of good folks like you, and
Yes, and
everybody's
we
a volunteer.
do
We
appreciate
We
it.
really do. So keep it coming.
And keep the feedback coming.
Do we have the Damon Jihad video? I mean, this
We
is
sure do.
Here we go. Watch this, folks. This is why we're doing Jihad all week.
No, it's not a problem. Why is jihad not a problem?
Two men swearing, shouting, and nearly swinging at each other over a massive graffiti message spray painted on I-95. Good evening. I'm Ben Becker. Jenna has the night off. Our cameras were rolling when a war of words broke out over anti-American graffiti. CBS 12's Carl Mann is live in the studio with how it all happened. Carl.
Well, Ben, you're looking at the spray-painted message that started the argument you just saw. In bold black lettering nearly 20 feet high, this graffiti work reads, Jihad, as you can see right here. And of course, in Arabic, that term is used to describe a holy war. Thousands of drivers saw the large message clearly when traveling northbound on I-95 in Delray Beach near the Atlantic exit. The spray-painted word Jihad created a fight that only CBS 12 caught on tape.
We started our interview and I saw these nice ladies over here starting to get upset with him.
With our microphone flipped on and our camera rolling.
You got a problem with this?
Yeah, he does.
With it saying jihad, right?
Our news crew was quickly caught in the middle of this war of words. I was interviewing Damon Rosen about the jihad spray-painted message, something that disgusted him. That's when an unidentified man left his car, and just like that, it was on.
Jihad is not a problem.
No, it's not a problem.
Why is jihad not a problem?
Fair, baby.
Things quickly escalated. The unknown man who did not oppose the jihad message shifted his shouting to a crowd of bystanders.
You're brainwashed.
The group of onlookers hurling profanity back at the man.
You're gonna lose your job.
Rosen then jumping in.
Take that back to the Muslim land.
With his own choice language.
Take that back to Allah.
Things then getting very heated as the unknown man left his family in the car to get face to face, the finger pointing and yelling, all caught on tape.
You wrong. It's a word. You wrong. It's a word.
The man who did not see the big deal about the jihad message making one last statement to those nearby before speeding off.
Just for the record, there's no terrorist.
My throat's going a little bit from yelling at that jerk.
Rosen came back to where we were before to finish the interview. He laid out why the spray paint sign irked him so much and why he stopped to get a closer look, adding that it had nothing to do with race.
Because that guy was white. These women are black. I'm white. I'm Jewish. I have Christian friends. Okay? This is about an ideology.
Rather, the ideology behind the jihad meaning, saying it's something that has caused terror in our country time and time again. Promoting it in such a public way like this message along I-95, according to Rosen, is the last thing we should be doing with our time.
It's time for people to wake up before we have another Boston bombing, before we have another 9/11.
Police found spray paint cans on the scene and are still looking into who wrote this large graffiti message. They couldn't tell us if they thought it was some kids pulling a prank or a legit threat of terrorism. Florida Department of Transportation was on scene this evening painting over the jihad sign. They say it will be gone by tonight. Live in studio, Carl Mann. Ben, back to you. All right, Carl, thank you.
And back to Tom Trento here on TrentoVision.tv on a Wednesday afternoon, 19 June, with CJ over there.
Over here.
You know who might have
right
painted
over
that
there.
sign, Tom?
And we just had Pamela Geller Skyped in talking about the Sinclair Hejazi New York Times debacle. And we showed that little piece of CBS footage because she gave a shout out. And she put this on her. To Damon. Let's give Damon another round of applause for
nice job on that.
Why are you giving him applause? What did he do? He did nothing.
You have
because a fight, he did nothing.
Abdullah, you have been a little quiet lately, haven't you, Jihad?
Well, he's intimidated by the she-devil.
Well, he got put in his place the other day by Damon, so.
What happened?
He got, Damon.
Damon was a little harsh on him.
Damon was a little harsh.
Look, we run a nice ship around here. We got crazy Muslims. They can come in and they can.
What
party
you
with us.
crazy, please? We run a nice ship, but we're all human, so.
Yes, that's true. There is.
Sometimes it's,
for the
comes to
most
fist
part,
of blows.
that's true.
Did you kiss and make up with Imam Abdullah?
He sure did. Frenched.
Oh!
No, I did not. Thanks. Just keep on going, TriCaster guy.
That's intern to you, okay?
Intern to you.
Just ask the intern. He'll tell you.
Yo, that's not what I saw when I walked out.
It's going to be so much fun around here when this taping is over.
See, folks, if we didn't have to rely on donations, we could actually hire people.
That's right. That's right.
But then there'd be no fun.
Who would be accountable and...
then there'd be no fun over here.
And
so
then what fun would it be?
Keep the donations coming.
Well, I think I know who actually painted the jihad sign on there.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, Sinclair.
Yeah.
He's from Boca Raton, right?
He is. He's is it Damon or is it Imam Abdullah that knows where his mosque is?
I know where his mosque is.
Do we have a picture of that mosque? This is the Boca
Yeah, well, it's
Raton
actually
mosque?
on the New York Times cover page. That's the mosque where he's at. If you actually, when we pull up that picture of there,
well, I think we should go find him and re-interview him.
Amen.
Now that we put out the video.
I think so. Yeah, yeah, and the story. I mean, Sinclair Hejazi is certainly part of the story, but the bigger issue, I think, is the New York Times. I mean, how do you find somebody? You can find them. How do you feature them without asking them what they believe? There's a disconnect between, and I never met Sinclair, but in Alan Kornman's interview of him, you can see he's sort of
I actually met him.
You have?
Yeah, I actually met him.
He seems very deferential, very nice.
He's a very nice guy. I mean, as far as like talking to him,
sure.
Well, what's really weird about when you talk to him, he's like just a very, very regular guy. He said, oh, okay, so what's your views on Sharia law? I think it should be implemented in the United States. Well, what do you think about the stoning of women for being stoning of infidels for being apostates? Oh, yeah.
Well, see, now here's the beautiful teaching
but
moment.
he's...
What?
If you watch the video, the guy is absolutely out of his mind because it's like he has no intelligence about his own religion or the Constitution because he's like, yeah, that sounds great. Okay. I mean, you could go up there and say to him, hey, I'll give you a hamburger, today if you'll pay me tomorrow. Okay.
Well, that's kind of the point, though.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
not that he's stupid or ignorant. The point is he does understand his religion. He's obviously intelligent. The point about Islam is you're not supposed to think.
I disagree with you. He's not intelligent at all about his religion.
The point about the Koran,
he sounds like an idiot.
The point about Sharia is that everything has been thought out for you. Yep. All the answers are there, and you only need to give them and recite them. That's the whole point.
Well, the whole point, you're absolutely right, CJ. But let's say, for example, he is an idiot, okay? Let's say he's just a complete and total moron.
Well, you got one thing right.
The New York Times came out and touted this guy as an intellectual guy. I mean, come
what
on,
does that make
yeah.
intern, Mr. Wisecracking intern?
Yes, how can I help you?
What does that make the New York Times if they take an
idiot?
An idiot and put
the New York Times will put anything out there that sells, and at the moment he sells.
Yeah, but why? Why did he sell in that 2010?
The reason why he sold is because, as you saw in the video, he's a nice man. He's soft-spoken. He doesn't look like he's going to take a sword and cut off your head.
So was Jeffrey Dahmer when he got all those people and killed them. I'm sure Jeffrey Dahmer's mom said he was a nice man, too. Doesn't mean that he's...
Well, he doesn't look like he's going to come after you and kill you, and that makes him, in the eyes of the people who are interviewing him, moderate. And so here is our moderate. This is not Osama bin Laden. This is Joe Electrician from next door who retired last year.
I think Joe would disagree with you on that one.
Yeah.
But let's walk through
that's what they see. That's what they want to know. That's what they want to believe.
Mark's doing this.
This moderate guy. I want to show you how moderate he is because Alan Kornman actually did a fantastic job doing a follow-up interview with him. This moderate guy. This moderate guy is actually a very close friend of the 1993 World Trade Center bomber.
Wasn't he the security for one of them?
We know that.
Siraj Haraj.
He was the security.
We have a video of this.
This nice guy. Who gets a moderate person as a security agent? That's what I want to ask.
But he was presented on the New York Times as a moderate.
Because you see how he presents himself, how he comes across.
All the people on the Upper East Side, the Upper West Side, they read their Sunday papers and they go,
oh look,
this
my
is beautiful.
favorite Muslim.
People still read papers.
This is great. Look at this.
Let's play the video of that and show how moderate this guy is.
This is what set it up. Set the video.
This is now after the event, after Siraj Haraj spoke, and we have a little bit of video of Siraj Haraj speaking, and he came here and commented after. This is after Siraj Haraj spoke. This is Sinclair Hejazi, the same guy you just saw earlier on camera, talking to Alan Kornman in an interview because Alan sat right behind him just to get some more info from him. So check out this video right here.
Before we do that, the first segment we already showed. How long was that one?
That's about 6 minutes.
Okay, and this one's a couple minutes?
Yes.
Okay, that's perfect. let her roll. Here we go, folks. Watch.
Mr. Hafizi. Hejazi, I'm sorry. So what did you think of Siraj Wahaj's speech?
You know, I'm going to tell you something about you now, Siraj.
But you guys are good friends, correct?
Yeah, of course. We grew up together.
You did?
We reject from the projects.
Really? What part of Brooklyn? Because that's...
Fort Greene.
So y'all grew up together in Fort Greene?
Yeah.
So y'all go back how many years?
Oh, God.
So you followed Imam Siraj Wahaj throughout his whole career?
Yeah, bro. We came from the Nation of Islam together.
Oh, so y'all were both Nation of Islam?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's where you became his security, was at the Nation of Islam?
Yeah.
I lived in Chicago, and I tried to go to the mosque.
Well, you wasn't allowed to go to the mosque.
No, they wouldn't let me in. They didn't. I was
wrong complexion, wrong connection.
And that's what they told me. I was shocked.
Yeah.
What was me? Well, would you say that you and Siraj Wahaj are ideologically in sync?
Yes.
Wrong complexion, wrong connection. Seriously? Seriously? Freedom of religion in the United States of America. Wrong complexion, wrong... Oh,
did you hear
this
where
guy's a moron!
Did you hear where he's from?
Yeah.
The Nation of
Islam.
Yeah.
The Nation
I'm
of
sorry.
Islam.
Can you show me where that is on your map behind you?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm curious.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
I
right
really
over-
want to know. And I'm
Right
sorry,
there in New
CJ,
York.
you call
Well,
this
if
guy
they-
smart?
Fort Greene,
This guy's
New
an
York.
idiot.
If they have their way,
Yeah, that's right. So
Yeah, the
thing
whole
is-
map
The
that
Nation
CJ's
of
pointing
Islam
at
is Louis Farrakhan. They are they were a bizarre offshoot. I got the DVR thing.
I'm
going
feeling
through my
like
ears.
Mark right now. I'm pissed.
The DVR thing's going through my ears. Are we done with the video? There we go.
Well, we have one more video of actually Siraj Wahaj at UCF.
I believe we have
That's-
Alan
that's
on
30
also.
seconds.
Do we have Alan with us? Okay, hold him for a second.
here.
Oh, all right, perfect. Is he Skyped in or
Just by phone.
just
by phone.
Okay. Let me see where we are here.
how much time do we have?
7:14.
The time is 5:35.
Time. Today's a timeless day.
Time is fleeting.
I'm upset about CJ calling this guy a smart guy.
Madness takes its toll.
Time is fleeting. That was an amazing piece of video, and we have the videographer, the journalist here who...
He's one of the best interviewers you will ever hear anywhere.
Hi, Alan Kornman. Let's give him a United West TrentoVision welcome.
Let's give him a welcome to his own organization.
How are you, Alan?
I'm fine, and thank you for that very kind introduction.
We have... it's been a wild week. As you know, Damon made the news on Saturday. So Monday we had Jihad in Florida on I-95. Yesterday, Tuesday the 18th, we had Joe Kaufman doing this really investigative expose into your good friend Ahmed Badir's family and his AQ Al-Qaeda connections. Jihad in the state of Florida, Jihad up in Tallahassee. Today, we're rolling out that footage that you shot a couple of years ago of Sinclair Hejazi. Give the audience a perspective as to why you went where you were, and how you got engaged in discussing Sharia with Mr. Hejazi.
Well, to give you a little bit of a preview, we were at the University of Central Florida. The Muslim Student Association, they were bringing in
Hang on.
Siraj Wahaj.
Can we? Is this the best?
Who is a?
But hang on, Alan. We're sorting out your. We seem to have a little bad. You're just on audio, right?
Right.
All right, keep talking. Let me see. We're cleaning up your audio a little bit.
Okay.
We got to hear what you have to say.
So Siraj Wahaj was speaking on behalf of the MSA. They invited him in. Siraj Wahaj is involved with the 1993 World Trade Center bombing and has become an unindicted co-conspirator. And what his friend Hejazi was there. Randy McDaniels started a conversation with him, and it seemed as though Mr. Hejazi has some type of a behavioral issue where he needs to tell his story because he believes that he is overshadowed by Siraj Wahaj. So we gave him an avenue to speak, and speak he did.
That is very interesting. All right, let me make sure the audience heard what you said. Siraj Wahhaj is a terrorist, folks. He's an unindicted co-conspirator in blowing up the World Trade Center February 1993. He's not been indicted. He may not pick up an AK-47 or make a steamer pot bomb. They're going to stand by and quietly clap when that stuff does happen in the United States, sadly. You had a question for Alan? Or
Yeah,
an
I do, because the interview is so fascinating, and especially when it's contrasted with the New York Times portrayal of this man. And I really would love to know from you, because you're such a good interviewer, how much of your mind do you think would have to be closed in order to listen to this man and come away with the opinion that he's a moderate of anything?
Well, that's a good question, and your mind would have to be fantastically closed, because when a man tells you that he would murder an apostate in 2012 at the University of Central Florida in the United States of America, that people who, or women who commit adultery should be killed, then that is, one, illegal, it is astounding, and it is a great example of Islamic theology and doctrine. But what's most interesting, CJ, is that what Hejazi is saying is he is telling you what Siraj Wahhaj believes in his heart, that he is not telling the rest of the world, because those two are like twin brothers of different mothers.
Well, they grew up together,
the Nation of Islam, and they are violently anti-Semitic and filled with Jew hatred.
And anti-white.
Anti-white.
Anti-white,
Man.
yes.
Wow.
I was discriminated against because I wasn't the right color in Chicago.
Yeah, we actually, the whole ideologically in sync of Siraj, we actually have 30 seconds of video on him, that same video that you shot down there,
right.
Alan, of actually him talking about
wrong complexion, wrong connection.
Yeah. That same guy, that same Siraj Wahhaj, he's talking about the punishment for women who must be, giving 100 lashes.
You have the video right now?
Yeah, we have the video right now.
Let's take
Let's
a
go ahead
look.
and play it.
Siraj
Those who
Wahhaj.
commit zina. Zina could be fornication, could be adultery. What is the punishment according to the Quran for those who commit fornication? What's the punishment? Lashes. 100 lashes, not stoning.
Yeah, he wanted to make the correction that it's...
Hold on. For what it says here, for the women and the man guilty of adultery or fornication, flog each of them with 100 stripes, which is lashings. Let not compassion move you in their case in a matter prescribed by Allah, and let party of the believers witness their punishment.
Quran 24, what is that?
That's Quran 24:1. This is Sharia law.
And now this is what Siraj was wanting to correct. Oh, you're not supposed to stone adulterers. You're just supposed to give them 100 lashes. Like that somehow that is good. And this is the ideological
I guess that
insinctness.
makes him moderate.
He goes, and this is like, oh yeah, Mr.
The smart
Hejazi and him are ideologically in sync. I mean, what do you got to say about that, Alan? I mean, 100 lashes for adultery? I mean, what are we back in the Stone Ages, keel hauling people or something, or what?
Yes, they are still doing it. And when you talk about 100 lashes, you're talking about such severe damage to your flesh and tendons.
That would
and
hurt.
Most people who have that type of punishment usually die from those wounds. So it is a death sentence. But they're calling for it here in America and being very bold and outspoken. And this man, the New York Times, labeled as, quote-unquote, a moderate American Muslim.
I know. It's astonishingly amazing that the New York Times can tout this man as a moderate Muslim when, and this is supposed to be a liberal ideology. What liberal ideology comes out and espouses 100 lashes of women? What liberal ideology does that?
I have an observation here. I think part of the problem is the difference between identifying a moderate Muslim, which there's plenty of moderate Muslims, but this man is a practitioner of Islam, which is different than being a Muslim. Not all Muslims practice Islam, actually.
Thankfully.
Okay, which is lucky for those
Yeah.
of us who are still left here. So maybe the point is that there are no moderate practitioners of Islam, and that's why they go out and find these other people.
Yeah,
Well, we're always asking, where are the moderate Muslims? The moderate Muslims don't practice Islam.
Folks, you got to get rid of this term moderate when you discuss Islam.
There
A
is
couple
no
of days
moderate
ago,
in Islam.
a new president was won the election in Iran. He's a
Reformer.
moderate. He's a moderate.
He's a reformer.
You do understand that there's a council of supreme mullahs headed by the Ayatollah, and they select the 6 people that ran for president, none of whom are moderate in any way, shape, or form. They're all 12ers. They believe in the Mahdi. They all support the development of nuclear weapons. So for the West to be tripping over itself right now, saying the new president of Islam is moderate and maybe we have a chance to engage with him, shows the height of foolishness,
ignorance,
as illustrated by the New York Times.
It is.
And this is with Sinclair Hejazi, the story we're breaking today. It's still a fascinating story.
It's self-delusion. It's self-delusion.
This little interview with him didn't happen in Iran. It didn't happen in the Middle East. It didn't happen, in some area like Dearborn, Michigan. This happened at the University of Central Florida. Alan, tell us what's going on with the University of Central Florida. All the people that they've been bringing in over there.
They've been bringing in a host of similar people to CARE and ISNA-affiliated terrorist supporters, Hamas supporters, and they have a softness in their heart for these Middle Eastern Islamic extremists at UCF. It could be the money that these foreign students are bringing in. It could be any number of things.
Or it could be even your Musri, your favorite Musri, your moderate Muslim up there in Central Florida, Imam Musri, who we caught funding jihad, correct?
Correct.
And he's one of the big pushers up there.
We got trouble in Mickey Mouse world, folks. Yes, we do. Alan, I think we need to draw some lessons from this, because we're going to send this show out tonight, Wednesday the 19th. You're on TrentoVision.tv, folks. We only have a few minutes left in the show today, and tomorrow, Thursday, we're going to take you into a jihad training camp in Gaza. You may have heard about this stuff.
That is so fun.
You may have heard about this stuff, but when you see what the Palestinians in the occupied land are doing to their children, then you go, how the hell in the world can there ever be peace when you're training little kids to hate Jews and to kill them? That's tomorrow's show. And I believe, Damon, do we have Professor Jonathan, what's his last name?
Matuzits.
Matuzits,
Yes.
yeah, Matuzits. Professor Matuzits tomorrow had a little run-in with
He's also from
UCF.
UCF.
Isn't he up there at UCF, Alan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Matusi.
Yes, he is.
Isn't it Matusi?
Matuzits.
What's the exact pronunciation? Matuzits?
Yes,
Jonathan
Matuzits.
Matuzits is a tenured professor at UCF teaching terrorism and communication classes.
Hello, run-in with the Pinellas County Republican Executive Committee. They didn't want him teaching on Sharia and Sharia-compliant Islam. Republican Executive Committee in Pinellas County. We have him as a special guest tomorrow, Thursday the 20th. And then on the 21st, on Friday...
Special Jumpin' Juma.
Yeah, Jumpin' Juma Freaky Friday. We're bringing you Chris Logan, who runs Logan's Warning, a wonderful blog that really goes after the Muslim Brotherhood and Sharia-compliant Muslims.
I don't like that man one bit.
I love him.
He was in a knockdown, drag-out debate on TrentoVision with Hassan Mack out of London, England. Taped it a few days ago. We're going to play it for you, 5 o'clock on Friday the 21st. But let's draw a couple of lessons here. And I'll just start the ball rolling. We've got about 3 or 4 minutes left. What strikes me in turn is you're calling the guy an idiot and all of that. He does seem to have some characteristics that lend that opinion. But here's the dilemma in the United States. When the Sharia-compliant Muslims go kinetic, when they go Al-Qaeda, when they go bombs, bullets, and banging things around, you only need a few of them, 10, 15% to do the crazy stuff. Then the West is looking to the moderates. Who is more definitively moderate than the New York Times poster boy for moderation than Sinclair Hejazi? Problem is, what the perception is as a result of their characteristics and their attitude and their ambiance is different than their doctrine, what they believe. Do you think Sinclair Hejazi is going to stand against the jihadis when they start doing all kinds of hell in the United States? Of course.
He'll offer him a place to stay and a hot meal.
He will.
Of course not. But
out of this part of his mouth, he'll be saying, "Oh, you shouldn't do that."
But I also believe that the Americans are more in tune to working out and looking fit and wanting to know how big Kim Kardashian's butt is compared to
pretty big lately. I saw a picture today.
She's been eating a little too much chocolate.
But she just had a baby a couple days
ago. But my point is
How do
that
you guys know all this stuff?
you should and I feel bad for my generation because it's so sad that I feel ashamed that you're not informed about what's going on. So what's going to happen is, real quick, and not to take too much time, but what's going to happen is that the left is going to get what they want. We're going to get, if we don't fight, we're going to get Sharia law in here, and our women are going to get raped, and our men are going to get killed. And then the left is going to stand up and ask us once again to ask our men and women to come out and fight, okay, for what the left is fighting so hard for right now.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
And you know what?
CJ, what?
You won't have guns, and I will. So
no
boo-hoo-hoo you.
We don't like guns. You can get hurt with guns. Yes, good.
Okay. Well, my observation is about these moderates, and what you were saying, Tom, is the answer is here. Who was in that video with Damon? Who pulled over on the side of the road, except for Joe American, who swore there's no effing terrorists, there's no such thing as Sharia, et cetera, and we're making it all up and it's BS. That's the problem,
that's the point of what we're
because
doing
he's the guy
that's
who reads that article in the New York Times and then looks at the truth when it's staring at him on a 60-foot wide, over 20-foot tall wall on the side of the highway and denies that it's actually there.
Are you going to believe me or your lying eyes?
Yeah.
What I find most disturbing about this whole thing is UCF and the Florida school systems have become a gateway for jihad, for spreading the Siraj Wahad's message. In conjunction with the Muslim Students Association, we've seen it not just once, not just twice, not dozens and scores of times. They continue to do it down here, and even down here when they started throwing in the babies down here on the lawns.
Yeah.
So the question is, and when folks watch this, Siraj Wahaj right there, the question is, as people listen to our show, TrentoVision show every day, we get the emails, we get the texts, we get the tweets, all of that. All right, guys, all right, you made your point. What can we do about it?
Okay, I do have something
we don't
that
have
people
time.
can do.
We don't have time today, but tomorrow,
We'll pick it up tomorrow.
Tomorrow we'll give you some ways in which we can do. But it's not going to be easy because it's systemic. It's part of the system. It's part of the academy after all these years and years and years of capitulating to the left, and they now have the minds of the leaders of today. Just take a look at this administration. But tomorrow we'll give you some clear steps, what you can do to fight the jihad, save America, save Israel, save the West. But right now we got to say goodbye.
Bye.
See you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.